They say the river remembers every secret we try to bury. Are you brave enough to step into the dark and uncover the truth hidden within the shadows of the Niger?
This is a story that talks about faith versus fear, generational secrets, spiritual warfare, family loyalty, and the power of prayer.
The sun hung low over the city of Asaba, casting long skeletal shadows across the manicured lawn of the Okafor estate. Chief Emeka Okafor stood on the marble veranda, his face a mask of weary pride as he adjusted his traditional agbada. Beside him, Ngozi polished a set of silver platters, her brow furrowed with a restlessness that the humid evening air could not explain. They were the picture of Nigerian success, respected, wealthy, and deeply rooted in their community. Yet, as the crickets began their evening chorus, the air felt thick with a tension that had nothing to do with the coming rain.
Chapter 1. The Whispering Silk. It was 9 o'clock in the morning, and Chinedu was still sleeping.
Suddenly he jotted up and screamed with sweat all over his body. The peace of the household shattered
When the piercing scream erupted from the Chinedu's room. Amara rushed into the room to find her younger brother, Chinedu, thrashing on his bed, his skin drenched in a cold, gray sweat. As she reached out to comfort him, her hand brushed against something with feathers beneath his pillow. She pulled it out, a small bundle of crow feathers, bound tightly with crimson thread and dipped in a pungent, black oil. Chinedu's eyes rolled back in his head, his lips moving in a silent, frantic prayer, while Amara stood with fear. Before Amara could call for her parents, she heard footsteps coming from outside the door. The door creaked open, and Mama Enkem drifted into the room like a ghost. The grandmother's presence usually brought comfort, but tonight, her eyes were sharp and unblinking. She didn't look at Amara. Instead, she walked straight to Chinedu and began smearing a thick, herbal paste onto his forehead.
"It is for his protection, Amara," the old woman whispered. "There are spirits in this house," while still applying the mixture on Chinedu's forehead. "There are spirits in this house that your modern God does not see." And she walks away from the room.
Chapter 2. The Red River.
The days that followed were a blur of incense and intercession. Amara's sleep became a battlefield. She dreamed of the river Niger turning to the color of rusted iron,
with Mama Nkem standing on the banks, calling her name.
During a quiet afternoon in the kitchen, Amara pulled her mother aside.
Mama, I need to tell you something. I saw feathers, heard chants, and now I have strange dreams.
Ngozi paused, her hands hovering over a bowl of pounded yam. A flicker of genuine terror crossed her face.
Before she quickly masked it with a forced smile, gave Amara a rosary, and told her to focus on praying the rosary. Amara sat on her bed that evening, praying the rosary, incense smoke rising from the corner of the bed. But the thoughts of Mama Enkem never left her mind.
That Sunday, the family attended the cathedral.
Chief Emeka and his family occupied the front pew.
At the edge of the bench, the atmosphere changed. Amara watched Mama Nkem, whose silence was louder than the choir. The grandmother did not sing. Instead, she fixed her gaze on the crucifix,
with a look that suggested she knew the wood better than the man in the pulpit.
Then the priest moved through the aisle, and what should have been a blessing became something else.
As the holy water fell, Mama Nkem flinched, as though the droplets were boiling oil.
Chief Emeka's jaw tightened at the sight, his eyes hardening out of shock, but he said nothing.
The suspense reached a breaking point when the family traveled to their ancestral village for the New Yam Festival.
Nightfall came. The village air was thick with the weight of history. Later that night, while everyone was asleep and crickets sang, Amara followed a flickering light into the small forest behind their village house. Amara stood still,
and watched the flickering light from afar. There, in a clearing, she saw Mama Nkem kneeling before a small stone altar. The old woman was speaking to the shadows, her words a frantic negotiation.
Take the strength from the girl and let the boy live. The lineage must survive.
Out of fear, Amara fled back to the house, her heart hammering against her ribs.
She found her mother in the corridor, holding a crying Chinedu. The boy, in a raspy whisper, pointed to the ceiling, claiming he saw.
It's the tall man with no face standing in the corners of the room.
Ngozi clutched her Bible, her knuckles white, her faith finally fracturing under the weight of the inexplicable.
Something is eating this family from the inside, and I don't know if prayer is enough to stop it.
Back in Asaba, Amara waited until the house was completely silent. She sneaked into Mama Nkem's room, and she started looking around. Under the floorboards, beneath the heavy wardrobe, she found a locked wooden chest.
Using a heavy brass paperweight, she forced the lock.
Inside were 5 clay figurines, wrapped in the hair and clothing of her family.
Her own figurine was bound in heavy iron chains.
Chief Emeka entered, his face pale.
She did it to protect us. A debt was owed by my father, and she has been paying it for 40 years.
Mama Nkem appeared behind him. Her eyes burning, she said,
Give them to me. If the debt is not paid with blood, it will be paid with souls.
Amara didn't run. She dropped to her knees and began to pray. Her mother, Ngozi, joined her.
Their voices rising in defiance. We break this curse now!
While the old woman sat down sober at a corner. The room shook. A violent wind blew. The figurines shattered.
The darkness left the house. The debt was broken, but the scars' memories remained.